we will be discussing the green light. So, Brandon, your first question is, where is the green light located and what is the significance of that? Explain.
So, the green light is located at Daisy's house. And for me, I feel like the significance of that is just how Gatsby's always like reaching for it. It's so close yet so far away because Gatsby's mansion is right across the water from Daisy's house. So he sees it every night whenever this green light gets turned on. So it's almost this feeling of like before Gatsby gets to meet Daisy, it's the closest thing he really has to being with her and just cherishing all those memories he had in her past and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I feel like that green light is like that one part of Daisy that he can experience and I guess partially embody every time he looks outside his window.
I feel like the green light, like especially because it is located like literally at Daisy's house across the water, and also reminded this is like East Egg, West Egg, Valley of Ashes. This is a very polarized, almost cartoonified, like almost like in a exaggerated way how different these places are depending on where you live. So Gatsby is literally reaching from West Egg to East Egg. So as he's reaching towards this green light, as he's reaching towards what a lot of people see as Daisy, he's also reaching towards this idea of wealth and this idea of like how wealthy these people in East Egg are, because they're the old money guys. They're like the oil money, the diamond industry. Those guys, they are so filthy rich that no matter what they do, nothing can like touch them, nothing can top them. And so I guess like he's reaching towards this green light, like located in East Egg, located literally at Daisy's house. And so like you said, I think he's reaching for Daisy, but I also think he's reaching for that money, which is why it's a green light. The money that these people in East Egg hold, because they are so rich that you can get away with anything. Like Tom, Daisy's husband, it's well known by pretty much all the socialites in East Egg that he's cheating on Daisy, and yet nothing happens to him. Like nobody goes up to him and is like, you're doing a wrong thing. This is not what you should be doing now. Like, don't care, because money is pretty much everything in this book. And so, I think it's a fair assessment to say that like the green light could represent money and could represent the wealth that Gatsby wants to possess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So the next question, what is, in your opinion, the most important aspect of the green light? So this could be anything like location, the actual color of it, like being green, being a light, like why wasn't it just like a giant statue of a dog, you know? Like, what is that to you?
That's actually really hard because I like location, color, and light. I'd probably say the location first, or actually maybe even just the fact that it's a light.
Yeah.
Because it was able to like pierce through the sky at night, especially when it was like foggy and stuff like that. I feel like the fact that it was a light, it was allowed to be seen at all times of the night, which is the one time really Gatsby was like pondering upon and thinking about Daisy, while in comparison, like it could have been like a flag, which could have been like covered up, you know what I mean, at other portions of of like the night and stuff, like the fog could have covered it up. But I feel like if it's something that you always want to see at night, there has to be some type of like illumination in the air. So the fact that it was a light was just signifying how nonstop all through the night, like whenever Gatsby couldn't see like the house itself that Daisy was in and whatnot, he could see like the light of where she lived and how that represented like where she was at in her life with Tom at that moment.
I also like your like you mentioned how you can always see it. I think that's also interesting when you say like you could see it through fog, because I guess in a way that also sort of symbolizes the fact that no matter how far like Gatsby like lost his way, like doing stuff, or if he ever really lost sight of, like of one thing on his way, he could always see the green light. He could always see the end goal, being with Daisy, having that wealth. And so I think it's very interesting that you said that the most important aspect is being a light, Because I know like a lot of people would probably say, oh, the color because it's green and that's like money, or like even the location, like we just talked about, the fact that it's at Daisy's house, like it means Daisy, that it's in Eastgate, that it means wealth and all that. But like the fact that it is a light, I like how you talked about it piercing through like the night, and I think it makes sense. I agree with you, because if that light is on from like all hours of the night, and Gatsby spends his nights throwing parties, but while everybody's out having fun, he's literally just standing there, staring at that green light, reaching for it, like he did in chapter 1. And so I think that just the fact that it's clearly important to him, it's clearly something he like is still stretching for, still wants, is like interesting and definitely a big part of Gatsby's character in the way that he keeps reaching for it.
No, yeah, absolutely. Especially like the color too, of just like
Yeah.
it being green, which is signifying of like money, as you said before, and just like the comparisons of like East Egg and West Egg, and like the types of wealth of like the old versus new money type of thing. And I think that's probably like my second one is probably the green, like the color of the light itself. And what that represents is like wealth, and as you said, like the things you can do and get away with the wealth that you have is a big part. Because I mean, in the end of this, like the story is about money. Like this would be a completely different story if this wasn't set in a location where people weren't as wealthy, as these weren't the two like richest parts of the area or the surrounding area. So yeah. I
mean, another thing is, would you consider the color green to also symbolize jealousy in this situation, in this context, in this book?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because like Gatsby, that's all he just wanted to be with Daisy. Like he wished he was living Tom's life essentially. So absolutely, like that jealousy, and then trying to come over and like claim her when he came with the little tea party thing. Not the tea party, but like when they invited her for tea. And that was a very jealous moment of like, especially like being at the place with the green light and whatnot. I feel like that was a very signifying moment of jealousy. Yeah, absolutely.
So now that we've kind of defined the green light, as being this like symbol of what you're yearning for, what you're hoping for, like essentially like an American dream, what does the green light mean to you? What is your quote unquote green light that you're always reaching and yearning for?
For me, my green light, this is so cliche as like a drama kid, but my green light is just like being on Broadway one day. And it's not just getting on Broadway. It's being the main guy on Broadway. That's I'm reaching for the best. I'm not just reaching for Broadway. I want to be the main guy. I want to be on the cover. I want to be doing the Michael Jackson pose, you know? But no, that's my green light, because that's just, I feel like that's what my life is like amounted to at this point. It's everything I'm putting my like effort into going to college for musical theater, and just like every part of my training is just going back to one day wanting to be on Broadway. Like I go and I dance every night, and then I sing, and then I act. It's like, you know, the encompass of being a triple threat. And just Broadway being that like main thing that I reach for and I aspire to. And I wouldn't categorize myself as being like jealous of the people already on Broadway, you know what I mean? Because they worked hard for their like time to get what they had. But
like you could say that like your green light is going to Broadway, and like just like Gatsby, you want that so badly, and you're working towards it every day, and like all of that. So like, would you say that everybody's American dream or everybody's green light is based on jealousy, is based on wanting something they can never have, or would you say that it's more of a circumstantial?
No, I think it's circumstantial. I think wanting something that like very few people have. I mean, the fact that, you know, Broadway's a thing is because very few people make it there. You have to be the best. But I'm not jealous of those people. You know what I mean? For me, it's just like I couldn't see myself doing anything else but being on Broadway, and I can't see myself sitting at a desk doing like a 9-to-5 job type of thing. So it's the only thing that's gonna make me happy. So, you know, it's like if you love what you do, you'll take care of, you know what I mean, getting where you want to go. You'll end up where you need to be. that type of thing, making money. Like, you don't have to worry about that if you love what you do. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.